Krishna Janmabhoomi plea now admitted in court. This is the big breaking that we're currently tracking. The Krishna Janmabhoomi plea has now been admitted in court. The Mathura court admits the Janmabhoomi Mandir plea after Ayodhya and Kashi. Now Mathura Mandir glare. This was, of course, expected and due to come up. Now the Krishna Janmabhoomi plea has now been admitted in court. The Mathura court admits the Janmabhoomi Mandir plea after Ayodhya and Kashi. Now it's time Mathura takes the spotlight. This is a nod to the Mathura plea. Remember, similar request that's been made that in Mathura too, Lord Krishna, that is the birthplace of Lord Krishna, and considering that this has great Hindu significance, religious significance to the Hindus, here you had some of the Hindu groups who appealed before the court, the lower court in Mathura, asking for this plea to be taken up for a survey into that area and to see if the lost legacy of the Hindus can be reclaimed. The Mathura court now admitting that plea, giving a nod to the plea filed by the Hindu groups, asking for a survey and further, of course, to be allowed to pray that mosque. A lot more the details, of course, our reporters who've been tracking those developments to give us. But now, after Ayodhya and Kashi, it seems like a spotlight has fallen on Mathura. This has been the three main demands, of course, by Hindu groups, including the BJP, who's echoed these sentiments time and again, that it's Ayodhya, Kashi and then Mathura. They intend to reclaim lost Hindu heritage, and this is after Ayodhya and Kashi. Now Mathura, that's now in the spotlight. Here is Mathura Mandir that Hindu groups say that needs to be unearthed. It needs to be surveyed. The area needs to be thoroughly checked into to see what kind of Hindu symbolism remains, and they want to reclaim it. Here is the Mathura court now entertaining that plea, admitting that plea. The matter should come up in court anytime soon, but for now no dates have been given, but the court has said that the plea has been admitted. This is a nod to the Mathura plea. Again, no surprises. This was what was expected. It was certainly a demand by the Hindu groups that first it was Ayodhya, then it would be Kashi and now Mathura. This plea that was filed by some of the Hindu groups asking for prayers to be carried out at the Mathura temple, which they believe was a temple, was desecrated, and of course they are hoping for a survey to be carried out. And here is the Mathura court, who has now decided to give a nod to that plea. Let me cut across to Ashutosh joining us for more on that. Ashutosh, this was, again, no surprises expected after Ayodhya, Kashi. Now Mathura seems to be in the spotlight, and it appears that the Mathura court has admitted the plea. A nod has been given. What's in that plea? What's the demand that's been made by those petitioners as we see the spotlight now shifting from Gyanvapi to Mathura?
So if you... Well, Nabila, in one line, if we have to understand this entire case, there will be a civil trial on this alleged land dispute as far as Krishna Janmabhoomi Sthan is concerned. The dispute which was settled in 1968, there was even a proper decree that was challenged by the petitioner in the first civil court. Civil court said, you have no locus standi, who are you? And then the petitioner was dismissed. That dismissal was challenged in the district court, which was heard, and on the order the district court today said the petition is maintainable. That simply means the matter will be sent back to the civil court, and now there will be trial on the entire land dispute. Remember the 13.7 acre the land which was given to the committee, and then in 1968 there was perhaps an understanding between Idgah committee, between the Krishna Janmabhoomi, but it was challenged by the petitioner saying that there is a trust, Krishna Janmabhoomi trust, and trust has the ownership because Krishna, who's the owner of the property, is a minor, and hence there is a trust who's responsible to handle all the affairs as far as land belongs to Krishna Janmabhoomi is concerned. Since that suit was dismissed by the court, today the district court has said no, it is maintainable. There will be now a long trial in the court. Devanshu Khandelwal, who's the lawyer for the petitioner, is joining me here. In one line, if our viewers have to understand today's order, what exactly does it mean for people of Mathura for this entire land dispute?
Basically, there was a suit which was filed by us, which is the foremost and first suit which has been filed by us with respect to DT property in Mathura Janmabhoomi property.
And what exactly that appeal said?
Appeal, and I'll be telling you, that suit was dismissed by the lower court on the sole ground that we don't have a right to file that particular suit because we are merely worshipper. Okay. Anyhow, we moved on revision, and now today itself revision court have allowed a revision, and meaning thereby court have allowed argument that a worshipper can file suit with respect to DT property.
So does this mean the matter will go back to the civil court and there will be trial?
Yes, there will be trial, undoubtedly.
Now, what with the subject of the trial? What was the contention? What was the petition that you moved earlier in the civil court that now been allowed?
Basically, in the lower court, we moved a suit for declaration and cancellation of the compromise, which happened between the Sunni Central Board and the Janmabhoomi Trust. And all these assertions which have been made by us in the lower court, that is all that compromises against the interests of the DT, and that compromise have no binding upon us, and that compromise is totally illegal.
The compromise between Sunni Central Board and the Krishna Janmabhoomi Sansthan, that was challenged. Since the petition that time it wasn't heard, today the court has allowed, there will be trial on the land dispute. Now they are saying because the Janmabhoomi Sansthan, where this the declaration was allowed, they are not the stakeholders. They claim the trust is rather the stakeholder, and this affect their interests and also the worshipping right. Worshippers have been allowed to move any plea. This simply means there will be a trial as far as land dispute in Mathura is concerned. Is that correct, Lawyer Sahib?
Yeah, undoubtedly. There will be a total trial, and we'll see what can be done with respect to...
Any idea when they're likely to be hearing begin in the court?
First, let me have a look upon the judgment, what contentions are there in the judgment, and then we will be looking into it and we'll be able to tell you collectively when it will be listed.
The judgment is expected in a couple of hours?
Yeah, it will be listed in a couple of hours.
So, of course, once the detailed judgment, written judgment is out, there will be more details. But for now, what we given to understand is the land dispute over the understanding that was reached upon in 1968 between Krishna Janmabhoomi Sansthan and Sunni Central Board, that was challenged, and now the land dispute will be heard in the trial court. Nabila.
Well, it's also interesting that now the spotlight from Kashi and Ayodhya has now come to Mathura. And this was expected. It's no surprises. In fact, the BJP has echoed the same sentiments that they will reclaim all that lost Hindu heritage, particularly Ayodhya, Kashi, Mathura. Now, Ashutosh, we're looking at a plea that also asks for the Idgah to be demolished. The Idgah, which is on that land, which is rightfully, according to them, the de facto owner here is Lord Krishna Virajman. So they say that demolish the Idgah and give back the land to us, the rightful heir of that property. So how has the Muslim side to the Mathura land really reacted to this? What has been their contention on this debate so long, even as the matter has now been taken up in court?
Moving conjunctions were moved to the court. One, that the Idgah is a legal construction. That was the injunction filed by Ranjana Agnihotri and several others, also seeking right to worship in the premises, saying that it is the encroachment and illegal constructions. Several those petitions have been clubbed upon, and there will be first hearing on 1st of July. In the meanwhile, 13 law students from Lucknow, they also moved to the court. Now, those arguments, particularly in terms of seeking right to worship in the premises and removing the encroachment as alleged encroachment, that will be heard in the month of July. But for now, the big day, since the petition has been maintainable in the court, there will be a long trial in the civil court on the land dispute over the years, which was resolved in 1968. Nabila.
All right, Ashutosh, stay with us.